Hello everyone, I'm Augusta Myers. Let's take a brief look at what's been going on in City of Albuquerque news the past week or so. In an effort to stem the latest spike in COVID-19 cases in Albuquerque, a city-led enforcement blitz focusing on getting individuals and businesses to comply with the state's COVID-19 public health orders yielded more than 300 notices of violation. The enforcement push, which took place between October 22nd and 26th, also led to more than 1,400 compliance actions and 7 citations by the Albuquerque Police Department. Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller commended the team on the enforcement effort, noting that it brought together 6 different departments to help get every neighborhood in Albuquerque on the same page when it comes to stopping COVID-19. Along with officers from APD, members of the enforcement team included inspectors from various city departments, including the Fire Marshal's Office, City Code Enforcement, the Environmental Health Department, and Parks and Recreation. As COVID-19 cases continue to spike, the city will continue its targeted enforcement blitzes where necessary and will also continue to respond to 311 complaints to investigate, gain compliance, and issue citations if needed. And speaking of COVID-19, the Cherry Hills branch of the Albuquerque Public Library System is temporarily closed after an employee reported a positive COVID-19 test this past Tuesday. The employee is said to be asymptomatic and last reported to work at the branch on Saturday, October 24th. Out of an abundance of caution, Cherry Hills Library will remain closed through November 7th, while a thorough sanitizing following OSHA and New Mexico Department of Health guidelines is completed. All Cherry Hills Library employees were notified and have been asked to quarantine. In related news, this past week, the city's Cultural Services Department announced that the Albuquerque Biopark Zoo and Botanic Garden, Albuquerque Museum, and Anderson Abruzzo Balloon Museum will restrict online ticket sales to New Mexico residents only as an additional COVID-19 precaution. This on the heels of the recent COVID spike in New Mexico. In addition to increased enforcement of the public health order, the city is responding with limitations like this one designed to keep the virus in check. Any visitors to those city venues may be required to show proof of residency. If you are looking for additional COVID-19 information, visit www.cabq.gov. And if you're planning an outing to the Albuquerque Biopark Zoo anytime soon, you might just see a new face. A baby clip springer was born Tuesday night, October 20th. The female calf, named Zeely, is Mother Raisin's third calf. The father is Pogo. Weighing in at just under 2 pounds, Zeely's caretakers say she was alert when they arrived Wednesday morning, even standing, walking, and nursing within a few hours of her birth. Zeely's birth is part of the Clip Springer Species Survival Plan, a program managed by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which aims to cooperatively manage specific and typically threatened or endangered species at AZA-accredited facilities. In other city government news, after a long hiatus, Mayor Tim Keller and the City of Albuquerque's Cultural Services Department relaunched public access television channel operations last week. The relaunch coordinates programming across all public, education, and government access channels, or PEG channels. In the spring of 2019, the Cultural Services Department undertook an overhaul of the PEG channels that are part of the franchise agreement between the city and Comcast Cable. The redesign included updating studio equipment and infrastructure, as well as developing a more decentralized programming strategy. A new approach to programming is ending the winner-take-all contract that put operations of 3 of the 4 PEG channel contracts under one company. The Cultural Services Department says the aim of this new approach is to create more opportunity for local producers and more access for the general public.
Public access television is all about freedom of speech, and it's an important part of any community.
But this relaunch, roughly 18 months in the making, helps the city realize its vision of improving public access to the airwaves and a modernized television and their access to modernized television equipment, production equipment.
The public should note that the studio will be enforcing COVID-safe practices. Reservations can be made at www.studio519abq.com under the Schedule tab. And that will do it for this week's City News for now. Be sure to join us again for our next installment of all the latest highlights of what's going on in Albuquerque right here on the Government Channel. I'm Augusta Myers. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.